right-footed copy. Oh! Bang! That one goes down. Champions! He takes that chance. Aguero!
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome back to SFN, your Sports Fans Network, and welcome to another edition of Transfer Talk, bringing you the latest developing stories from the transfer world around world football. Now, today is about the MLS, and it's about St. Louis City Soccer Club, because we have a report from Sky in Germany about a potential German defender coming over to St. Louis. Now, before we get started with this video, make sure you do like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you never miss another YouTube video. And for now, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you stay tuned for all the rest of the content coming up this week, including a very special collaboration with a non-league football club. Let's get into this video, though, and let's talk about the latest from Germany's sources about a St. Louis player potentially in the works in the off-season for the upcoming MLS season in 2025. So this stemmed from Germany's Sky reporter Florian Plettenberg, and of course he has tweeted in the last few hours as of recording this, advanced negotiations exclusively between St. Louis City and defender Timo Baumgartl. According to Florian, some details still need to be finalised, and the 28-year-old centre-back could sign a contract lasting at least until 2027, starting January the 1st, 2025. The former Schalke defender is currently a free agent, and boss Lutz van Stiel is eager to secure his signing, with the medical check still reportedly pending. That's come from Florian Plettenberg, a Sky source from Germany. Right then, let me give you the rundown then on Timo Baumgartl, the German experienced centre-back. Now, there are some positives, there are some constructives that he will need to work on, even as an experienced player at St. Louis. There are some things positionally in terms of his best role that may determine who the next permanent head coach or manager of St. Louis City will be. Of course, we know that they've been operating with an interim head coach for the rest of this season, St. Louis. However, that will change, I'm sure. Whether the interim becomes permanent is still up for discussion. There is another manager that's reportedly in discussions or potentially in the works to be a contender to become the next head coach of St. Louis, which we'll talk about later on in terms of the way he suits that style of play. But in terms of Baumgartl himself, I'm going to give you some of the positives first of all. He is a strong tackler. He's effective in one-on-one situations. Generally can be reliable in making well-timed tackles. Physically, he's strong. His timing in defence allows him to win duels, effectively shut down opposition attackers. So he is a strong force in the back line from that regard. In terms of his positional awareness, he reads the game quite well, often positions himself exactly to intercept the passes or block shots in ideal locations. The defensive awareness enables him to react quickly to play and anticipate the movements anticipated in the situations. So he's a good enabler of situations. He does read them out very, very well. His positional awareness and his pitch awareness is spot on, as you'd expect from an experienced player. He is a bit of an aerial masterpiece. He's quite effective in the air, both defensively and in set pieces in the attack. His height and timing makes him a useful asset for winning those duels, defending against crosses. He's comfortable on the ball, makes composed short passes on a general basis, not all the time, but on a general basis every now and then. He can play out from the back quite comfortably, and his ability to do that can help teams that rely on build-up play from the defensive third, which helps go on about the next upcoming manager, because the talk is that Louisville City's head coach Danny Cruz is reportedly in within a shout of being the potential next head coach of St. Louis City, according to reports. So you look at Danny Cruz, his preferred formation is a 3-4-3. His best position is on the right-hand side of a back three. So immediately, if you're going to sign this guy, you need a manager who plays a back three, ideally, because if you bring in a manager who plays a back four, you won't bring out the best out of a new signing. Yes, he's a free agent, and yes, it'll be cost no money on the transfer front. But for me, I think that you need a three at the back formation manager primarily if you're going to bring in a three at the back best played defender. Now, of course, his experience is second to none. He's played in the Bundesliga. He's played in the top level of Netherlands with PSV Eindhoven. Of course, Bundesliga is experience in Germany, and Bundesliga overall range from Schalke to being a youth player and going all the way through to the senior team at Stuttgart. That's where his potential was really on the radar back in the day. And I was quite sad to see where Baumgartl ended up as a free agent, because for me, I thought he had massive potential years ago. And all the FIFA 16 kids will remember Timo Baumgartl signing in for your League Ones and your Championship clubs. Comment down below if you love FIFA. But yeah, for me, in all seriousness, in the real world of football, Timo Baumgartl was a high potential player back in the day at Stuttgart. And he got his chance at PSV, he got his chance at Schalke, and yeah, consistently he's not really found his rhythm, but he still has the experience. He's still adaptable. He's versatile in terms of his experience of different leagues and styles of play. So he knows how to read different styles of play, both offensively and defensively. His versatility in that regard makes him a valuable squad player at the very, very least. Now then, some of the things he needs to work on. First of all, limited pace. I did notice on many occasions his lack of speed leaves him vulnerable against very quick attackers. And there are some quick attackers in the MLS, particularly in teams that use a high defensive line. So again, very, very interesting there. So St. Louis new head coach does intend to play a high defensive line. Baumgartl ain't going to be the quickest, so you need a very quick wing back on that right-hand side that's going to cover and track back that potential space in behind where quick attackers can move the ball around. Now, in terms of his distribution, while he is calm on the ball, his passing range is limited at times, and even though his short passes are more effective, he does struggle with the long balls or when pressed, making him a less effective defender in teams that rely on progressive passing from the back. So his distribution can be considered inconsistent at times, which is fair of me to say when scouting this guy. He has also had some injury issues in recent seasons and has been impacted by setbacks in the past. So again, consistency, durability, reliability, that can come into question as well. And of course, positioning-wise, he can make the occasional errors as well. He is generally strong in positioning, but he can sometimes, on every now and then occasion, get caught out of position when play breaks down or during the fast-paced counter-attacks from opposition teams. Again, this is linked to the limited amount of pace he has every now and occasion, particularly if the team has committed players forward. If you commit too many players forward, he hasn't got the pace compared to other players to track back and cover that space. So in terms of his style of play, he's a physical defender, a solid aerial defender. He's got conservative distribution. He's an organised, reactive player at times as well. And his best position, in my opinion, is on the right side of a back three. And this is what, again, leads me back to the manager. His positional support in the back three means he'd have to cover from other centre-backs, reducing the risk of being exposed by pacey attackers, which, again, is a massive, massive trait to have. And this is why it's so, so important for St. Louis to get the managerial appointment spot on. Aerially and physically, he's a real presence on the right-hand side. So he may not be the paciest of the defenders, but you offer the strength on the right-hand side, a bit more pace on the left-hand side, and a bit of both down the centre. You've got a nice balance of the three. He is a balanced in terms of his passing role overall in the three-man setup. He can focus on short passes, a defender on more long-driven passes, and a defender, again, mixed on both, which adds balance to the defence for St. Louis City next season. So, overall, he's a reliable physical defender. If he can get over the pace issues, if he can get over the injury concern, I think he can be a decent player for St. Louis City. That's my take on Timo Baumgartl. Let me share my final thoughts. So here is my final judgment then on whether or not I think this signing is spot on for St. Louis City. Like I said, for me, I feel like this could be a good signing on paper. I think he has the experience. I think that, he's learned a lot over his career. All the constructors that we mentioned about, limited pace, lack of cover, occasional positional errors, this, that, the other, injury concerns. Not all of it's his fault. And also, don't forget, these things can be worked on. There's a reason why I don't call them negatives. I call them constructive criticisms. Because at the end of the day, we did offer a counter argument to that. This is why, and this again reaffirms my argument, and I'll say it again for a third time. This is why St. Louis City need to bring in a three at the back preferred formation manager, someone like a Danny Cruz, or if the current interim head coach is indeed going to be the permanent head coach for St. Louis City next season, he needs to work with a three-back system, because for me, Baumgartl suits much better in a three-back system. If he's in that back four, and you've got a pacey defender and you've got a slower defender, yes, you've got the balance in the partnership, but pacey attackers are just going to come down that right-hand side, and if you're not protecting that right-hand side more and more and more, you leave yourself open at the back to a high defensive line, especially on that right-hand side. And if you put all your attention covering the right-hand side of the defence of a back four, you leave space to switch on the left, which could open you up to direct attacks down the left-hand side, and vice versa. So for me, Baumgartl suits much better in a three-back system. It's why St. Louis City have got to get this managerial appointment absolutely spot on. Like I said, I think he is reliable at times if he can get over those injury concerns. His lack of pace doesn't shy away from the fact that he's a strong physical defender, great in the air at times. His positional awareness is spot on majority of the time. His passing range in terms of his short passing is brilliant. His passing range overall is great, but his short passing especially has been wonderful to watch in the past. And for me, I think especially his short passing is very, very effective. So you've got a nice, experienced, comfortable, versatile defender in terms of the way you learned from different leagues and different playing styles, different styles of play from different managers. So he's got a bit of experience under his belt, bit of pedigree under his belt, and he can offer a good option for St. Louis City, at least rotational, maximum first team, obviously. But he's a valuable squad player at the very minimum for me for St. Louis City, if you can keep him injury-free, that is. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for this edition of Transfer Talk, talking about the potential signing of Timo Baumgartl at St. Louis City in America, as the signing potentially moves into the advanced talk stage, as reported by Florian Plettenberg of Sky in Germany. Make sure you do like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you let know St. Louis fans, what do you think about this potential signing? Do you enjoy it? Do you like it? Comment down below. And for now, I'm the CHALL, Ta-ra for now, and that is full time here on SFM.
Right foot to copy.